This is the 12-stage phaser of the MoogerFooger pedals. Again, there's a drive control for your input level in the middle, and the main controls will be found here on the right-hand side. The phaser generates a kind of a comb filter effect, so certain frequencies are being notched out simultaneously, other ones are resonating and coming forth, and those can sweep up and down, changing the overtones and the harmonics of your signal as you go. You'll hear it sort of with a vocal effect, sort of like the formants in a vocal, or maybe like a wah-wah pedal. Some of you are familiar with that sound. Here's a guitar track going through. I'm just going to adjust the sweep or the setting of the phaser. Now I have the resonance turned up to full, which creates more feedback through the circuit, makes it a stronger, more pronounced thing. But I'll turn the resonance down. You'll hear the same thing again without so much resonance. Still has an effect, but not quite as noticeable and strong as when the resonance is up. This 12-stage phaser is so called because Moog back in the 70s made a rack mount, very rare and very expensive 12-stage phaser. And then back 20 years ago when Bob Moog was making these pedals, the price of those had been so high he thought he could build it into this pedal. The same circuits and the same sound plus a few more options. One of the options is a 6-stage phaser. Not quite as deep, but a little bit more for a prettier sound, not quite as heavy. So we'll go again from the 12-stage sound, which is this, to the 6-stage sound, which is this. Slightly different character. Most people prefer the 12-stage. It's kind of like the low-pass filter where we have the 4-pole and 2-pole filters. The 12-stage is just more of that great sound. And we also, of course, can control the right side with the left side. This has an LFO with a speed and an amount to sweep this setting up and down. And then you can do that instead of having to turn the knob. It will do it automatically in a cycle, giving it an LFO slow rate or high rate here as well too. So let's start that up. I'm going to start with the basic setting here, and I'm going to modulate it with the amount turning it up. And that's the sound of most classic phaser pedals right there. They do have an LFO to sweep their settings. You can choose to do it or not. You can choose how much. We can go to 0. We can go up here, which is set phasers to stun. Great Star Trek reference. And then, of course, above that is set phasers to kill. All the way up. Now on this rate control, it's something worth mentioning. Bob Moog decided that most pedals were very limiting. The setting of a typical phaser might be 1 time a second on the slowest to 2 or 3 times on the fastest. But if you look at this, the slowest speed is actually incredibly low. It's a 1.5-minute cycle to go up and down when you set it all the way there. So this is a really, really slow cycle, which might be great for scoring or something where a scene needs to evolve over a long time. And then the fast speed is pretty quick. It's that 3 times a second that you might find with most phaser pedals. But we can also kick it up to the high register. So we're going to go faster than that, which most phasers definitely will not allow. And I can go well up into the audio range. Listen what it does here. Great adjustable ranges that most phaser pedals would never get to, and you can use it how you like. We'll also go over here to the drums, which have a great option too. I like putting drums through this phaser. This is definitely probably my favorite pedal, and you'll probably see why. A lot of great things you can do with it. It's a beautiful sound. The phaser is giving it that slow shifting, almost a tape phase type sound. And I can, again, adjust the sweep setting to start with. I'm going deepest with the 12-stage on and the resonance all the way up, and a full amount, because I just like the phaser sound so strong. It's very, very musical, very, very interesting. And the fidelity's still there. One of the things about these original pedals was they went down to very, very low frequencies and all the way up to the highest frequencies comparable to a console or a mic preamp. Most pedals didn't have that kind of range, but you can hear here that the high end of the cymbals is still complete, and the low end of the drum set is still complete when it goes through this pedal. Here's a basic synth track as it was recorded. Turn the phaser on. It's a beautiful shimmering effect, beautiful shift between all the frequencies coming and going. And it is in stereo. Again, you see why it's one of my favorite pedals. Just a beautiful sound, very subtle, and great on things like choirs, orchestras, reverb returns, things like that that may not be so obvious, but it's great to hear them on a strong signal like that. Again, here is another instrument. This is another synth part, and you'll hear it without the phaser at first. So the phaser on. It's just gorgeous. And again, the fidelity is incredible. It's in stereo. You've got a little bit different things happening on the left side than the right side. And going back to the normal sound sounds a little bit boring at this point.